राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनारंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनारंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनारंजना जमुना तीर वनचारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीर वनचारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jai Sachinandan, Jai Sachinandan, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravijagacharya Ashtotarshatashi Shrimad Srila Abhay Charanaranda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Thakur Haridas Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरी गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय गंगा देवी की जय यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी रानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय इस्कान पीपीथी संस्थापक आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय Go Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishne Swadhamo Pagate Dhanamajnanadibhi Saha Kalau Nashtadrishamesha Puranarko Dhunoditaham. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. This is Canto 3, Chapter 25, entitled The Glories of Devotional Service, and today is a very famous shloka from that passage, text number 25. Do we have books or any text, everybody? It's on the board? Have? Okay. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido Bhavanti hrit karna rasayanah katha Tadjoshanadashvapavargavartmani Shraddharatir bhaktiramukrameshyati Satam prasangan mama virya samvido Bhavanti hrit karna rasayana katha Tadjoshanadashvapavargavartmani Shraddharatir bhaktiranukrameshyati. Anyone else? Satam prasangan mama virya samvido Bhavanti hrit karna rasayana katha Tadjoshanashashvapuvargavartmani Shraddharatir bhaktiranukrameshyati. Satam, of pure devotees. Prasangat, through the association. Mama, my. Virya, wonderful activities. Samvidaha, by discussion of. Bhavanti, become. Hrit, to the heart. Karna, to the ear. Rasa ayanaha, pleasing. Kathaha, the stories. Tat, of that. Joshanat, by cultivation. Ashu, quickly. Apavarga, of liberation. Vartmani, on the path. Shraddha, firm faith. Ratihi, attraction. Bhakti, devotion. Anukrameshyati, will follow in order. Translation. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 25, Text 25. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and to the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. Let's repeat this. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder and Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It's like us. Very imperceptibly we keep going down unless somebody brings it up again. The process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here. The first point is that one must seek the association of persons who are Krishna conscious and who engage in devotional service. Without such association, one cannot make advancement. Simply by theoretical knowledge or study, one cannot make any appreciable advancement. One must give up the association of materialistic persons and seek the association of devotees, because without the association of devotees, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Generally, people are convinced of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth. Because they do not associate with devotees, they cannot understand that the absolute truth can be a person and have personal activities. This is a very difficult subject matter, and unless one has personal understanding of the absolute truth, there is no meaning to devotion. Service or devotion cannot be offered to anything impersonal. Service must be offered to a person. Non-devotees cannot appreciate Krishna consciousness by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literature wherein the activities of the Lord are described. They think that these activities are fictional, manufactured stories because spiritual life is not explained to them in the proper mood. To understand the personal activities of the Lord, one has to seek the association of devotees. And by such association, when one contemplates and tries to understand the transcendental activities of the Lord, the path to liberation is open, and he is freed. One who has firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes fixed, and his attraction or association with the Lord and the devotees increases. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. The devotee who makes this association develops the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord, and then, being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes perfect. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Satam Prasangat. From what kind of association does Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti? Virya Samvit. Well, let's just take one word at a time. Satam. What does satam mean? Among whom? Those who are real. Get real. So sat means real. Asat means which is not real. How do we know this? Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita. You know the verse. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. This is the definition of reality as opposed to illusion that Krishna gives. If it's real, it's forever. It never changes. If it's not real, it doesn't last. It's constantly morphing into something else. This is common sense. This is not very high philosophy. Anyone can understand this. So sat means something that is eternal, something that is real. It also means something that is honest, because satya means that which can be eternal. I know. Satya. You can be eternal if you are honest. So satam and prasangat. What does prasangat mean? According to Sridhar Swami, he says prasangat. Satam prasangat means from satsanga. Satsanga, real association, genuine. The association of genuine people is called satsanga. We also call it sadhu sangha. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur takes it a step further. He says prakrishtat sangat. In other words, sadhu sangataha, from the association of holy persons, sadhus. He becomes fixed in this way. And prakrishta, what does prakrishta roop say? Huh? Jada, okay, but tivra se? Or it means several things, actually. If you look this up, you will see. It can mean something that is very excellent, preeminent, superior, a really good association. It can also mean, like you said, tivra, very strong association, powerful. So prakrishta. Prakrishta also means a special association. So there's a few different definitions, but the idea is that this is not just ordinary association, this is powerful association, very advanced association, special association. What happens when you have that association? Krishna says, Mama samvido virya bhavanti. There's two ways to look at virya samvida. Virya means what? What does virya mean? Potent. Yes. So Krishna is saying that you can hear Prabhupada is interpreting this compound implicitly in his word for word. Virya means wonderful activities, and samvida means by discussion about them. So you can say it's a Shashti Tatpurusha Samas. It's a discussion about Krishna's potency, about Krishna's courageous activities, you might say. Or you can take it as if you take it as an adjective, the samvida itself, virya samvida bhavanti. It becomes very potent from prakrishtat sangat, from very powerful association. We've all experienced this. If you listen to Krishna Katha, or if you, better yet, discuss Krishna Katha amongst sincere devotees, advanced devotees, mature, well-versed devotees, it takes on special potency. It doesn't actually change. Potency is already there, but that potency comes out. We were discussing last night another one of the very key verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, text number 16. Anybody know that verse? I'll give you a hint. Shushrushoho Shradadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirthana Shevanat. And there the Acharyas have told us that, first of all, you get the taste for hearing about Vasudeva at all by associating with devotees. And why associating with devotees? Because when you associate with devotees, you will get the opportunity to serve those devotees. Again, this is a compound that can be taken in a couple of ways. Mahat Seva means service of those who are great, or rendering great service. However you want to take it, do it. So, Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirthana Shevanat. By serving those who are, and the Punya Tirthas, anybody remember what we described about this? What is a Punya Tirtha? A pious holy place? Punya Tirtha? You can say that. It's not incorrect. But in particular, Sridhar Swami said, Nishpapasya sadhu. And it's somebody who's freed from vice. And Prabhupada, just to make it very clear for us, practically, Srila Prabhupada listed some of those vices. What are they? 4 regulative principles that we all follow. We don't take meat, fish, or eggs, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication of any sort. This is nishpapa. When you associate with devotees who do this, then you discuss Krishna consciousness with these devotees, then it becomes very powerful, as we've described in today's verse. And Sridhar Swami raised the question yesterday, okay, that's fine, but what happens if I don't really have any inclination to hear in this association? Then what do I do? Yesterday's verse answers the question. Who was here? You serve. You serve those devotees who are freed from vice, and then you get the taste. How it happens? It's mystical. It's mystical. There are some tat prabhavena. I think it was Vishwanath Chakravarti, maybe Jiva Goswami said about this. Through there, some special power that they have, some influence that they have. Somehow or other you are awakened. Your faith is awakened. Let me hear. What are they talking about? What is this all about? They're glorifying Krishna in no uncertain terms. What is this about? This curiosity, it's initially curiosity, but it matures into faith if you serve. And when that faith becomes strong, then you get some ruchi. And with the ruchi, if you invest it in the process of hearing, then you get more inspiration, more direction, and you again serve, and in this way you ashu apavarga vartmani. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So mama virya samvido bhavanti. These topics take on a special, they're activated, as it were, by the association in which we discuss these topics with pure devotees. They take on special potency. Or kya hoga? Hrit karna rasayana katha bhavanti. They become very pleasing. The topics about me, stories, or Krishna Katha generally, about me, it becomes Hrit Karna Rasayana. Anybody take Ayurvedic medicine? You know it as Rasayana. Medicine. So it's medicinal. But this is like children's medicine. There's no such thing as children's medicine that isn't sweet, correct? You have to induce them somehow to take it. So with ourselves also, this becomes it becomes very sweet. How does it become sweet? When we have the association of specialists, prasanga sangha. That's what it is. Satam prasangat. And how does it become sweet? It is going to work on us whether we think it's sweet or not. In the beginning, it's a little bit like, what do you say? Maybe karela. It's not so sweet. We don't really have a taste in the beginning because we're not purified yet. But, hote, if we render service unto the great souls, then what happens? It becomes like sugar candy. Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pitto Pataptarasanasya Rochikano. We don't have a taste, Rupa Goswami says, because we have jaundice. What is this jaundice? Dvandva moha. We have this bewilderment of duality. And we have so many infected desires within our hearts. We have so many doubts. We have so many bad habits. We have so much bad karma coming and creating obstacles for us. All these things are called anarthas. Unproductive things, unwanted things. And they militate against us getting anywhere in terms of spiritual advancement in life. So we have to get over that. We're going to describe how that happens. But the point is that when we discuss Krishna Katha while we're serving great souls, then it becomes very sweet. The medicine is there, but the medicine gradually becomes sweet. And how does it become sweet? It becomes very sweet to the ear. Kyon? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is absolutely beautiful poetry in Sanskrit. So for the ear, it is very nice to hear. And for those who can appreciate Sanskrit poetry. Or even for those who don't appreciate Sanskrit poetry, for those who appreciate only stories, there are so many wonderful stories. I remember the first time I heard the story about how Narasimhadev came to save Prahlad Maharaj. I was just so completely astonished. What a wonderful, this has never heard such a thing. Very pleasing. To the ear and to the heart. We're getting into that. The heart is also very pleased. Why? Because we recognize, yes, this is true. What I'm hearing, you cannot hear this anywhere else. This is only in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Kashmir Shaivas have a nice word for this. They call it pratyabhignya. What does it mean? Pratyabhignya. The fancy Sanskrit word means recognition, to recognize something. When you hear something is true, you immediately recognize, yes, I know this. That's why we relate. That's how our faith is increased. We recognize. Okay, so it becomes very clear, it becomes very pleasing to the heart, and it also becomes very pleasing to the ear, even though it's initially not so. It's like bitter medicine in the beginning, by serving. Satam prasangat implies that kind of service. This was discussed at some length yesterday by the acharyas commenting on this verse with regards to Mahat Seva. Mahat Seva implies service, Sridhar Swami says. Okay, so now that we're at this point, Tad Joshanat. What does Joshana mean? Enthusiasm. What does Srila Prabhupada call it here? Josh. We say in Hindi, right? Enthusiasm. That's a pretty good guess. Srila Prabhupada says it means cultivation. Yeah, actually, we're going to hear you're ahead of us. So it actually means a cultivation. Now, what kind of cultivation? This is important. Sevanat, according to Sridhar Swami, and according to Sanatana Goswami, it means sevanat. They say exactly the same thing about this. It means to serve. From that service, or as Prabhupada says, cultivation. Cultivation means it's a very, very careful choice of words. Srila Prabhupada said that when he wrote these books, he very carefully chose his words. And this translation suggests that. cultivation. Cultivation means not only the cultivation of service attitude, but the cultivation of that taste that comes as a result of the service attitude and the activities of service. Okay, so this rasayana becomes what Sridhar Swami and Sanatana Goswami again call sukhada. Sukhada, very pleasing. It gives you happiness. So, and we've already described how it becomes virya samvida. What does samvida mean? If it's virya samvida, that's okay. But what is samvida to begin with? Samvida. Sridhar Swami says it means viryasya samyak vidvedanam. This is the first interpretation. It is complete awareness, complete perception through realization of the greatness of this personality of Godhead. Samyak, viryasya samyak vidvedanam. Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells us, samvid, samyak vedanam, which is essentially the same thing. Samvedanam, vedanam. What does vedanam? Not vedana, vedanam. Vedana is another, maybe vedana in the beginning, as we described. But vedanam means direct perception. You perceive this thing. It's not that somebody's telling you and you believe it. You perceive this thing. What does Krishna say about this in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita? Pratyaksha-avagamam. This thing is directly perceived. This is pratyaksha praman. Okay? So this is what we can expect. Now, tad joshanat, from that taste of the personal experience and the realization of Bhagavan's greatness through discussions with potent devotees, what happens? Tad joshanat, actually Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he glosses the term joshanat very differently than does Sridhar Swami or Sanatana Goswami. Does anybody know what he says? He says, Pritya asvadanat. Typical Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It means, with love, he's relishing these activities. Your love becomes awakened, and he relishes these activities. That's why they're sweet, because he loves the person that we're talking about. Just like anyone in this world even, if we love someone, it's natural to talk about that person and to glorify that person because of love. So this is what he says here. Now, what is the special characteristic of glorifying Krishna with love? What happens when you do this? That's the next line, or the next phrase here. Ashu apavargavartmani. This is these words have to be unpacked. First of all, ashu. What does ashu mean? Quickly. But Srila Prabhupada told us twice that it means gradually. Did you notice? I'll read it again. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, etc. And then, in the end of his purport, Srila Prabhupada again reiterates, being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes perfect. Now, we made much yesterday of the point that Jiva Goswami, most of the commentators on the Srimad Bhagavatam regarding that verse, Shushrushoshadhanasya, they already pointed out for us that doing things like planting trees, giving charity, feeding poor people, opening hospitals and doing such things, these punya, these pious activities, they purify your heart. It's true, they do purify us, but urukalena, after a long time. And he contrasts this with association with a devotee. He quotes several verses from the 10th canto and elsewhere in the first canto, first chapter, text 15, and 10th canto as well. Several verses I quoted that say, Sadhya punanti, Sadhya. When you associate with Vaishnavas, even just by seeing them, even just by maybe brushing up against them in the metro train, or maybe just by hearing a little bit of what they have to say, that slight association is enough that we become purified immediately. How does this happen? This is, again, tat prabhavena, by the potency of those devotees who are nishpapa, freed from sin. So this is a very important point. And therefore it says here, ashu. Now, we still haven't explained how it is gradual and quick at the same time, have we? No. But we know that ashu means quick, and we know that Prabhupada says twice in the purport and in the translation even, that it's gradual. So we have to, now that we've problematized the situation, we have to unravel the problem. What do we do? Jiva Goswami, in his commentary on the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Baladevi Dabhushan, for that matter, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, they both give the same explanation of this point. That when in the Shastras we see this word sadhya, he is immediately purified. At least with regards to bhakti, and particularly associated with saintly persons, it means that you are in fact immediately purified, but you don't feel immediately purified. When you take initiation, many of us in this room have taken initiation into Krishna consciousness, and we say that all the karma is immediately destroyed. At that time, Krishna accepts you as his servitor and all of your karmas, and yet we still continue to suffer. We still seem to have very dogged anarthas that chase us at every moment, and it still seems as if we're not really fully purified yet. So how does this work? Who has some ideas about this? Let's discuss it. Is everyone completely doubtful about this? Or is anyone in the room completely convinced that you're immediate? You heard last night, you're not allowed to give the answer. Karma is put on hold when you take initiation. Yes, Snehavalli. We suffer from prarabdha karma, and what happens if you erase all of your prarabdha karma? If you take out all of the prarabdha karma, then what happens? Aprarabdha even, no, you can't even, yeah, okay. That's another thing. If you remove all of your karma completely, then you're going to cease to exist in any physical form, because the only thing keeping this mind-body complex going is some degree of karma. So some karma has to stay. This is one point. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam, wo to hai. Lekin Krishna doesn't necessarily purify all the karma right away, or as she said, it's on hold. That's okay. That's an acceptable answer. It's not the answer that I'm looking for. It's also described that when you stack 100 palm leaves, and then you put one of those long needles that we have in India, you make garlands, you put it through them. It goes through all the leaves, all 100 leaves, it goes through them immediately. You just push it through, done. Correct? No. It goes through the 100th leaf, then it goes through the 99th leaf, and then it goes through the 98th leaf, and then 97, 96, 95, 94, adi, until you're done. It looks to be an immediate process, but it is not an immediate process, and in exactly the same way, when the Shastra says, Sadhya punanti, we are immediately purified, it looks that way, but from Krishna's perspective, not from our perspective. Our perspective is completely wrapped up in our conditional consciousness of localization. You know, we're localized in both time and space, and we're so wrapped up in that absorption that for us, even half an hour is an intolerable amount of time to wait. Especially in America. India is a little more patient. People will sit in the temple for an hour or two waiting for darshan. So yes, and passion, of course, also makes you completely impatient. But so it looks like it's taking a long time for us because we're very conditioned. We're still very much covered, this is the point, by our absorption in the here and now. But in fact, even if you take only one lifetime, that's very, very fast. It's immediate. So that's one explanation. There can be many such explanations. But this is ashu. So, Apavarga Vartmani. Vartman, of course, means the path. And apavarga means what? The opposite of? Pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Any Tamilians here? Raise your hand if you speak Tamil. Nobody will admit it. Okay, then you can point to the Tamilians. Yes, yes. Okay, you don't have pavarga. That's why they say Gobal. But most of us, we know we have pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. And each of these aksharas stands for something. Pa ka matlab to kya hai? Parishram. Parishram, we all know parishram, don't we? Especially if you work in India, you know parishram. It's a little better here, on shore. We can say more about that later on. I like to joke about this because India is the only country in the world, I think, where you're offshore in your own country. You need to go home and think about that for a while. Okay, so parishram. How hard are we working? What comes next? Pa stands for pena. I always tell, when we used to take the Tanga from Mathura Junction to Vrindavan, you're in Tanga and the horse is going clop, 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 clop. And they have to stop halfway to drink water because they're already foaming at the mouth. And we're doing like that also. When we come home, bahut thak gaya, at the end of the day, you have no time to sit down and listen to Bhagavatam. You'll fall asleep immediately. Especially because the kids are yelling and the wife needs something and there's shopping to do and there's bills, the taxes to take care of and ayo. So, this is pena. Foaming, we work so hard that we foam at the mouth. And what do you get for your work? Ba. Ba stands for bandhan. You're bound by this. In addition to getting your paycheck, you're getting a hefty load of karma because who are you working for and what's their purpose? Think about it. In India, I always chide them because I tell them, you think that you got independence in 1947, but you're still working for the same people that your forefathers worked for. They're the same people. Anyway, so bandhan. And you get nothing but karma for it at the end. And then, therefore, what happens next? Bhaya. You don't know what's coming after death. We don't know. You don't even know what's coming in 10 minutes. There can be an earthquake. We're an earthquake country, no? Anything can happen. There was one of our congregational members in Dallas, Texas. This is about 30 years ago, long time. He was watching television in his home, in his own home. He was watching television. I hope he was watching Mahabharata. It was big at that time. And so he got up and he went to answer the door. He didn't know that in America you don't answer your door at 10 o'clock at night. And as soon as he opened the door, the very last thing that he saw was the flash from the barrel of a gun pointed straight into his face. And he was blown into tomorrow. Just like that. Ek goli sab samathui. So, anything can happen. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. You have no guarantees. How's that for talk about job security? You don't even have body security. Anything can happen here. So it's dangerous. And therefore we have bhaya. Those who are a little bit aware of the situation, they naturally have some fear. And it's warranted, actually. All right, so even if you can tolerate the hard work and the foaming at the mouth and the bondage that accrues and the fear that constantly accompanies you as soon as you turn away from God, this is in the 11th canto, no? Anybody know the verse? Bhayam dvitiya bhiniveshata syat. If you get into something other than Krishna, then your constant companion from that point on is fear. This is what we get. This is the payoff. It's a trade. You want to enjoy in this world. Independently of Bhagavan, you have to stay with your friend, fear. And then at the end, what's finally? If you can tolerate ba bha ba bha, then maranam, mrityu. The whole process is crowned with death in the end. So this is pavarga, but we're not talking about pavarga here. This verse says, Tad joshanat, which we know means pritya asvadanat, loving relish, or sevanat, from service. From that, what happens? Very quickly, which we've also described, apavargavartmani. You're established on the path beyond all this. This is the goal of life. This is this is what it means to be a human being, a truly human being. You can't just define yourself as some biologically correct human being capable of reproducing with other human beings. Humanity means dharma. And the supreme dharma, this is directly stated in the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, what is it? Savai pungsam paro dharmo, the topmost dharma, yato bhakti radhokshije. Anything by which you can get bhakti for adhokshija. This is the supreme dharma. Okay. Now, very quickly we're established on that path beyond death, the path of bhakti, and hote, this Krishna Katha becomes more and more sweet at every step, swadu, pade, through serving the Bhagavatas, and it becomes more relishable, and it's always medicinal, as we described already, and we're guaranteed that we don't have to come back to this pa-pa-ba-pa-ma. So it's a very auspicious process. And how does that process actually play itself out practically? How do we gauge our progress? We have in this country, I used to be one, many Christians, any Abrahamic faith in general, I don't mean to knock anyone, but they don't really have a scientific understanding of any process. They cannot gauge their progress in spiritual life. They can't hardly even make progress in spiritual life, and we see this practically. Why? Because it isn't a scientific process. Bhakti Yoga is a scientific process. Scientific in that, Shraddharatir Bhaktiram Anukramashyati. Step by step, Kramataha. We go from some initial Shraddha, then we eventually awaken Rati. What does Rati mean? Huh? Attraction. Srila Prabhupada translates it as attraction. It's glossed by Sanatana Goswami as bhava. Bhava. From Shraddha you eventually get bhava, and then eventually it becomes prema. So, Shraddha. What does Shraddha mean? Shraddha. Shushusho Shraddhanasya. We heard this yesterday. Shraddha. What does it mean? Faith. And Jiva Goswami tells us that it means something very similar to faith. Vishvasa. Trust. Trust. I gave this example before. Listen closely. This is a good example. Those who have children, you know, your children are never in any doubt whatsoever that you're going to feed them today. Correct? There's never any doubt. Therefore, the Christian Bible, since I've knocked them, I have to... Jesus Christ said, you should be like children. What does that mean? You should be so trusting of your parent, just like the children are. This is faith. Vishvasa, Jiva Goswami says. It's a very illuminating comment. Vishvasa. They trust. Yes. So, this is faith. When you take this faith and invest it in the kind of mahat seva, or the good association that we described, so many things happen. Where is that described? Here we're getting only a nutshell version, a summary version, Sridhar Swami says. It's very, here he says, Satsangasya bhakti-angatam utpadayati satamiti. This verse is meant to show that sadhu sangha is an integral part of the bhakti process. But how does this actually play itself out? How do you go from faith to suddenly bhava bhakti and then prema bhakti? How does this actually happen? Where is it described? We know this. Everybody knows, huh? Nashta praishu abhadreshu thik rahega, lekin, huh? Yeah, bhakti samarthintu. This is the complete science, Srila Prabhupada said, of bhakti yoga. And there Rupa Goswami has given us two very nice verses that describe. He subdivides. Here we have only three categories. Shraddha, Rati, and Bhakti. Bhakti here means prema, according to Sanatana Goswami. Prema lakshana. Bhakti characterized by prema. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also directly glosses the term bhakti as prema. So you go from shraddha. What do you do with your shraddha? Shraddha means we've already described. Vishwas, you trust. There's something to this. I can do this. There's some reason to do this. I have some faith in this. So what do you do with that? Where do you invest, so to speak? Sadhu Sangha. Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha. And we know what happens through Sadhu Sangha because we've been discussing it for 2 nights. Beginning, he says, we established last night that Sadhu Sangha means you will be engaged in Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya means the activity of the devotional service. It is the nature of the sadhu to engage you in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we see even people who are not inclined to engage in Krishna consciousness, they're not even willing to engage in Krishna consciousness, but the sadhu finds some way to do it. Many, many times we've seen this. They be just by the mercy of the devotees. That is another power of sadhu sangha. They are somehow or other, they find a way to engage them. He doesn't want you to preach to him, fine. He won't even take prasadam, fine. He's not going to chant Hare Krishna, fine. But still, the devotees are so determined that they somehow find a way to engage this person. A favorite example. In some program in India, I don't remember where it was, Srila Prabhupada, he would go and hold these programs. And in the 1970s, all these Western Vaishnavas were a huge sensation. Very difficult to imagine this now because we're used to it. But, nobody could believe that these Westerners could ever really become practicing devotees. And yet Srila Prabhupada did that. And he returned to India, he said, with his dancing white elephants. And so there was one program, and Srila Prabhupada was preaching very vigorously. And then Srila Prabhupada and the devotees also noticed that in the crowd there was many, many members of some Mayavad organization, and they were distributing their pamphlets amongst all the people who had come to hear from Srila Prabhupada, and they're trying to poison them with this Mayavad Bhagavas. So Srila Prabhupada, he's lecturing. He can't do anything from the stage, but he's watching everything and he's seeing what's going on. And his mind was so brilliant. The devotees, they were thinking what to do, and Prabhupada kept gesturing that, just sit, it's okay, just sit tight. So Prabhupada waited until the end of the lecture, and everybody in the whole hall had their flyer from the pamphlet. And it was time to distribute prasadam. So Srila Prabhupada told them, put the pamphlet on the ground and serve prasadam on top of the pamphlet. And everybody took prasadam happily, and these people were engaged in devotional service at the same time. This is a devotee. This is the compassion and the intelligence of a devotee. And where does that intelligence come from? Anybody who knows the 4 seed verses of Bhagavad Gita, you know the answer already. Krishna gives you that intelligence if you are willing to do something for him. If you're willing to put yourself out and expend your volition and use your own brain to figure out what to do, then he will give you the guidance. So that's what he did with Srila Prabhupada. Why can't he do it with us? Srila Prabhupada said, I'm only one Indian. Imagine if every Indian takes it so seriously. Bharata bhumite hoilo manushya janma jar. Janma sartha kari karo parupakar. This is the idea. Okay, so then this is what happens. Shraddharatir bhaktiranukramishiti. In satsanga, anartanivritti syat. I'm sorry. Adau shraddha tato sadhu sangha tato bhajana kriya. From engaging in devotional service, then what happens? Anartanivritti. All the ugly stuff starts coming out. And we discussed anarthas a few minutes ago. What are the anarthas? We think that we are so many things. Just like in a lunatic asylum, you can meet Napoleon Bonaparte. There's so many people. I'm the President of the United States. There was one crazy guy in San Francisco. He was called, what was he called? Emperor Norton. He was a public figure in San Francisco, and he ran every time for the mayor's office. And he considered himself to be an emperor, and because anyway, California is the land of fruits and nuts, so Some people actually voted for him just out of sport. Anyway, so we're like this. We have so many illusions about the way we look in the mirror, and I'm so beautiful, and so many things. And we have so many dreams and delusions of grandeur. These are my enemies, and I've wiped them out, and here's some more remaining enemies, and I'm gonna get them also, and just wait until I get enough money, and then I've got to. If you get to be 50, because there's no guarantee, remember? We already discussed bhayam. If you get to be 50, then you begin to figure out that life doesn't go according to your plan. Never. There is not a single exception, I think. Maybe there is, but I haven't seen it yet, and I certainly haven't experienced it. It's always different than you expect. So, this is... Anartha Nivritti means you have to understand, I am an illusion about many things. And you have to see the need to take association of someone who is above this illusion. So who can pull me out and to give me the proper direction, steer me in the correct trajectory. So that's a big topic in itself. But this is an artha nivritti. All of our desires, material desires, will diminish through chanting the holy name. This is especially the thing that works in Kali Yuga. If we're serious about sincerely chanting Krishna's name, Hare Nama Anukirtanam, the word is used in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Anukirtanam means according to the proper ways. There's a certain way to do it. We have to avoid certain misconceptions, certain offensive behaviors like this. And if we do that, and we chant Hare Krishna sincerely, then so many of these anarthas, they come out of our heart. Kaise? Pungsam kalikritan doshan dravya deshatma sambhavan sarvan hariti chittasto bhagavan purushottama. You have anarthas that are coming from, you don't have enough facilities. Everybody feels he doesn't have enough facility in this world. So it's true, we don't. So that's one kind of anartha. Another kind of anartha, desha sambhava dosha. It's produced from a bad environment. Bad environment, we'd like to point out, I don't know, here in Issaquah, probably not so much, but if you live in places like New York City or Los Angeles, especially the east side of Los Angeles, you may hear them at night, nishacharas. Nishachara means night rovers. And they call them, at least in California, they rove around at night in what we call low riders. And they have mega bass speakers attached to their car sound system. And this is what you hear at night when you're trying to sleep. So these are nishacharas, and this is desha sambhava dosha. Your consciousness is going to be affected by that. Everything that is entering into your 10 organic senses at every moment in this world, you're going to be affected by what you hear, by what you see, by what you smell, because you can't avoid that here also. Have you noticed? So many places. Trying to perform a yajna in someone's apartment, and the guy downstairs is having a barbecue. Is that shubha? No. So, and then finally the worst kind. What is the worst kind? Atma sambhava dosha. These are things that you're bringing with you from God only knows how far back. Atma sambhava dosha. Sarvan hariti chittasto bhagavan purushottam. The Lord within the heart, when he sees, okay, she's listening now. Okay, he's serious. He's really making an attempt. Then he just takes it away. Gone. That is mercy. Now, how do you know how to do this except through the mercy of Krishna's agent? Now, we're going to discuss that tomorrow because we're talking about sadhu sangha prabha, sadhu sangha prabhava. So, that is a very, very, very important thing. But after anartha nivrittito, what happens? Anartha nivritti sat, then? That you're fixed. You're fixed. I don't know about here. There must be something here similar, but in the American South, there's a kind of water weed that they have, kudzu grass. Any biologists here? No, all IT people. Naturally. So because that is an introduced species, it has no predators in the environment. And when something has no predators, it just takes over everything because nothing's keeping it in check. So all the natural waterways in the American Southwest are clogged with these, they're kind of like hyacinths or something like that, water lily kind of thing. And so this is what happens when you successfully complete the process or even almost complete the process of an artha-nivritti. There are no more predators to your bhakti lata. It can grow without any obstruction whatsoever. Then things really take off. That's like this J curve they have of biological growth. If you have a very fast reproducing species of any sort, and it just, it doubles every day, at a certain point it just shoots up and off the charts. This is what happens. The difficult period of bhakti is only in the beginning period, mainly through anartha-nivritti. And you know what? Frankly, if we have to be frank, we will admit honestly, most people never get out of anartha-nivritti in this life because they're just not serious enough. But if you are serious, God helps those who help themselves, and the devotees help those who don't help themselves. So you can advance if you just try to be a little receptive. How does that happen? By piety. Most of you are pious. Otherwise, why are you here? So, devotees association is so valuable. It can bring you to the stage of nishtha bhakti. What happens when you have nishtha bhakti? Then what? Ruchi syat. Then you get a real taste. Introductory taste, that's okay. That's one thing. But real ruchi, that happens after a great deal of advancement. Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhava ki jai. Real ruchi, deep ruchi. What is the characteristic of real deep ruchi? Strong, strong taste. Like he was saying earlier, pritya asvadana. This is ruchi. What is the characteristic of that ruchi? This is the next thing. Asakti. Asakti. Madgata prana, Krishna says. They cannot live without me. Just as an ordinary man cannot live without eating. Raise your hand if you didn't eat today and don't plan to. Yes, everybody ate today. We're attached. This is ruchi. This is asakti. This is where our attachment, this is where our shraddha lies. Annamaya. You see? There are saints in our line that they go for days without eating. It is possible. I mean, we're not advocating that you do anything drastic, but the point is that this is a scientific process that can elevate you in a tremendous way. So asakti means you have a great attachment, and what happens after asakti? Then we finally get to rati. Rati means bhava. We decided this already. So shraddha, rati, bhakti, anukramishati. We've also decided that bhakti means prema. So between shraddha and bhava bhakti, there's a lot of stages that Rupa Goswami has illustrated for us, very practically, so that you can gauge, where do I fit into this scheme of things? What is my stage right now, and what do I need to do in order to advance further? I mean, what you need to do is always pretty simple. You associate with sadhus. We'll get to that tomorrow. But the point is that you should recognize, have I finished an artha-nivritti? No? If not, then go back to box number 2. Have I come to the stage of nishtha? Okay, yes, then all right, go on to ruchi. If not, then go back to box number 3. You see? It's a flow chart. And it's only by the grace of Rupa Goswami that we have this scientific understanding. Other religions don't have this. Some processes or some religions, what we call religions, they're actually not even religious at all. They don't even believe in God. And even those who do, they lack a scientific understanding of not only the personality of Godhead, Sambandha Gyan, but certainly of Abhideya Gyan, how to get there, how to cultivate, and how to awaken this eternal Krishna consciousness. So by the grace of the devotees, sadhu sangha, even for 1/11th of a second, it says in Srimad Bhagavatam, somehow or other that is enough to awaken this spark of spirituality. And if we associate favorably with the sadhus, which means we will render service, then hote we go through these 5 or 6 stages, preliminary stages, and then we also come to Bhava Bhakti. Does Krishna say this in Bhagavad Gita? Does he say that many people have done this in the past? Who knows the verse I'm thinking of? We've quoted it last night. Exactly. When we are done with the initial stage of spiritual advancement, mainly in artha nivritti, then what's going to be missing? No more material raga, no more material bhaya, no more material krodha. And what instead do we have? Madbhavam puta madbhavam agata. We have approached Bhava Bhakti. Rati, as it's described in this verse. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, but if anybody has any questions or any comments, we can discuss it further. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the class. The question is, how much association is a good association with devotees? Here, the verse speaks about the main goal should be discuss the pastimes of the Lord. So, many times we find out that instead of speaking about the pastimes of Krishna, we ended up speaking mundane subjects. So how much we should associate with the devotees?
Very good question. Association with devotees does not mean that you call your friends over and watch cricket match on television with the devotees. No. That is not prakrishta sangha. So we discussed some of the meanings of prakrishta in the beginning, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this is what prasanga means, prakrishtat sangat. So who knows who remembers what some of those definitions are? You said tivra, and what else? Special, I said. Another such definition of prakrishta is prolonged association with the devotees. Even though an 1/11th of a second is enough, but is there any harm? You can't get enough of a good thing, as they say. So the association has to be, association with devotees means you associate with some devotee whose faith is deeper than yours. Swatovare. He should be ahead of you, better than you, deeper in his faith in particular. That is a very important qualification. Association means more advanced association. Something has to be done here. There. If the association is more advanced, then you won't find the conversations descending into prajalpa. This is a fact. You try to go to Vaisheshika's house and just see if you can get away with discussing anything mundane. It won't go anywhere. The conversation will just peter out. On the other hand, if he comes into a mundane situation, everybody's talking about politics or cricket or whatever, movies, because India means movies, then very quickly he will elevate that conversation to a transcendental platform because he's absorbed. He's hearing every day in good association, therefore he has become that good association. Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha. See? So we have to qualify. What does it mean to associate with devotees? How much we associate with devotees means how often, how long we associate with them, and what kind of devotees we associate with. These things are described here in this third canto, elsewhere, by Kapila Dev, in some detail, because devotional service can be mixed. The ideal thing is to associate with the pure devotees, not the mixed devotees. Mixed devotional service means your devotional service can be tinged with Rajoguna or Tamoguna, And that kind of association is not prakrishta. Okay? Is that helpful? All right, anything else?
Krishna Prabhu, regarding these 9 stages of devotionals, stages of bhakti, I heard that the Ananta Nivritti is not just like we are staged, it's kind of an overlapping with the other progressive stages actually.
Anartha Nivritti.
Yeah, so it's not like you are not done.
That's true. This is a conceptual paradigm. It's really not, it's not static. It is very dynamic, and we're all different. We're all people. Look at it this way. What are your stores here? You have chain stores here. Fred Meyer. Okay, so every Fred Meyer store, you're going to have basically the same merchandise. And in fact, they will organize the stock of merchandise pretty much in the same way, just to ease management. They will put it together like that. But the physical facility of any given outlet, it will differ from the others in other places, somewhat. So in this way, when the Lord comes from time to time, and when his devotees come, the Leela plays itself out a little bit differently because the configuration, to use the local buzzword, will be slightly different. The needs of the conditioned souls in this particular universe will be different, or in this particular time, place, and circumstance. And so it is with a given spiritual master and a given disciple as well. So there is a lot of overlap, and things may not exactly play out according to a strict, cut and dried sort of a method. You can't put everything into a equestrian bed, as it were, because it's a dynamic process. So that's why we may feel some degree of spontaneous attraction is there, even before we've entered the path of anartha nivritti, what to speak of concluded it. So, they do overlap. Is that okay? What else? Apavarga Vartmani, one of the definitions given by Sridhar Swami is avidya nivritti, which sounds a lot like anartha nivritti, doesn't it? If you cessation of ignorance. This is what it means to be placed on the Apavarga Vartma. Sanatana Goswami says it more directly, moksha, moksha nivritti, or moksha Vartmani. Okay, anything else? Yeah, Amritanand.
So during the initiation, our karma is on hold. So
yeah, she said that.
Yes. So some devotees asked me about the reference. Do we have?
I was going to ask her, but I didn't want to embarrass her. We've heard so many things in ISKCON. Many, many things we've heard.
I heard this repeatedly by many speakers, many senior devotees.
Yes, there are some very, tenacious rumors. Read chapter 17, text number 15, and there Srila Prabhupada spells out very clearly what is our system of pramana here for understanding. He said the process of speaking in spiritual circles is to immediately give a reference from Shastra for any proposal that you're making about spiritual life. We have to do this. That is a culture. That is a cultural, thing. It's a culture that has to be established. If we choose to follow Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra strictly, this is what we will do. Unfortunately, we don't do this. And that leads to problems sometimes. So I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say that this is a wrong idea. There's certainly truth in it. But in general, it's a good idea to always ask, where does that come from? What is the reference? Why? Think about this. Throughout, if we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we find him quoting the same shlokas, very basic shlokas, again and again and again. In full, he quotes them. For whom is he doing that? There's no other way for us to get a sense of what's important until we see, statistically, what is he saying most of the time. And similarly, he understands and appreciates that this is always purifying and auspicious to vibrate that katha, especially in Sanskrit, which is why he included so much Sanskrit in his books. So it's a good idea. If we have any proposals or any understanding about spiritual life, we should be ready. We could call this in Hindi kantastha. We should be ready with a quote to corroborate what it is that we're proposing or what it is that we believe. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this sharpens your spiritual intelligence, which is, it's a good thing. Okay, you want to add something? Is that okay? Are you satisfied? Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful association and a wonderful lecture. Srivas Goswamiji in Radharaman temple in Vrindavan once said that Gaudiya Vaishnavism is a chaotic democracy. Anybody can be a leader, becomes a leader. And it's certainly a concern for, I think, seekers, because as you said, we should look for a swato vare association. And
Hamari Zimendari.
Hamari
Yes, I was on the Shastric Advisory Committee when this topic came up. How do we regulate the appointment of ISKCON gurus? This is an ongoing discussion, actually, to this very day. Still, there are problems to be worked out. So, there was a lot of back and forth about that, and somebody proposed, you have like a theological seminary, the way that the Christians do, that you train people systematically in your belief system, or you try to educate people to make them Shastris. We have this, Bhakti Vaibhava and Bhakti Vedanta degrees that Prabhupada himself, endorsed and wanted to institute. But ultimately, when all is said and done, the responsibility is only on the disciple. Laissez-faire,
Thank you, Prabhu. I also wanted to ask at something level before, even because given that we have facilities to market ourselves, now given the modern facilities.
And we do market ourselves.
So how to choose this? We are it's like another distraction.
Somebody came to me just the other night and with the same question, looking for a guru. How do I choose a guru? I told him, when you want to buy gold, you don't stuff your pockets with cash and head for Chor Bazaar. You first of all find out what is the price of gold. You find out how to test the gold. You find out who are the reputable jewelers. You ask around people that you trust, people who know and have a long-standing relationship with those people. You have to do your homework. Look at the way we go to college. This is one gentleman yesterday told me the kid is he's gone through the applications for 20 different colleges. Anybody who's been to college, it's a hassle. You have to do this. And that's just going to college. What to speak of choosing your spouse? Or, your career, or, Now, these are all mundane, temporary things that will affect us for only one lifetime. How much attention do you have to put into making a decision that's going to affect you for the rest of eternity? I told him, read Srila Prabhupada's books, find out what a bona fide spiritual master is, and what the responsibilities of a disciple are, what's going to transpire in that relationship, how exactly it plays out, who the paramparagat, whether he's coming in parampara, all these things are there in Prabhupada's books. The problem is that they're not so systematically given in Prabhupada's books. That's why, and we're lazy to read all of Prabhupada's books. But Prabhupada, I believe very strongly, Srila Prabhupada wrote these books in a non-systematic manner deliberately, just to make us read every day, so that sense of Siddhanta is developed slowly over time, and the sense of what to do and what not to do is gradually inculcated within us by our surrender to the process of Mahat Seva, which means hearing from him. Swami Charanat, as they say in the commentaries. It's a cheating process. I won't say that. That's a strong term. But it's, we're looking for shortcuts all the time. Now, for those who are hell-bent on finding a shortcut, there used to be a very nice book about this topic, a compilation of quotes on the topic of the spiritual master and disciple, written by my godbrother Shubhananda. Not written by him, just collated by him. It's out of print for reasons that I will probably never understand. It's such a valuable reference to have. So, we could really use that book. I mean, it's out there on the net somewhere. I think the spiritual master and the disciple, Shubhananda. But you have to be careful because, one version looks like it's been interpolated by the Ritviks, and in another version, the page numbers are all different, and ayo. So, anyway, as I said, there's no real easy way around the responsibility that we each have, and one of the responsibilities, we have many, one of them is to read Prabhupada's books every day. This is one of the few things that he criticized about his disciples while he was present in this world, and the problem is much worse now. In 2019, people don't read any books, what to speak of Srila Prabhupada's books. So, there's no easy way around that, but one has to take that trouble if one is sincere. If one is cheating, then no problem. Just do whatever you want. It's a lot easier. And many people do that. Even in ISKCON, I hate to say. Is that okay? All right, anything else? Otherwise it's late now. We'll stop, I think. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue this. As you may have noticed, last night we finished with Jiva Goswami's quotation of today's verse. And in today's class, I mentioned one other reference that we're going to dilate on tomorrow. I won't tell you what it is because I want you to keep you in suspense. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.